Good afternoon. My name is Andy Hallman. Later on, we'll hear about the newly announced all-union big school basketball teams. But first, today's top stories. School district officials in Washington have stated they are no longer considering a 4-day week for next school year. The consensus comes after a survey of the district's staff, students, and community members found the majority of the 1,000+ respondents agreed with the idea, but that several of them, including about a third of staff respondents, said they needed more information to form an opinion. Superintendent Willie Stone said the schools would continue to consider the switch and work to keep the public informed through community meetings and abundant communication, likely starting after next school year begins, in an effort to minimize confusion. School board members said they agreed with Stone's recommendation to hold off on any changes, but keep the possibility open for future years. The findings may shape future 4-day school week conversations, even if they don't happen in the immediate future. The survey found over 45% of the 269 survey-taking students would prefer a 4-day model with Mondays off, but almost 80% of community members and over 2/3 of staff favored having Fridays off if a 4-day approach were adopted. The McDonald's restaurant in Washington plans to demolish its building and rebuild it, slightly repositioned on the same lot. Records submitted to the Washington City Council and its Planning and Zoning Commission say the change will adjust drive-through lanes and move the building to the south, slightly reducing its footprint and the number of parking spaces, while also updating sidewalks for ADA compliance. People familiar with the project, including Bishop Engineering's Casey Thompson and Planning and Zoning official Jeff Dua, said the planned changes would likely remove the building's play place as well. Store manager Kate Straughter said the move would greatly expand the eating establishment's productivity in response to heavy local demand. Straughter said the Washington McDonald's is even busier than some of the McDonald's in Iowa City, with only 1/3 of their kitchen space. McDonald's USA Regional Construction Manager Steve Rizzo said at a P&Z meeting that the company hoped to break ground in July, but that it may be delayed by contractors' other work in the area. If that happens, the project could be delayed until next spring. With more sunshine-filled spring days ahead, local children anxiously await the arrival of the Easter Bunny. In Henry County, a plethora of activities over the next 2 weekends will give residents ample opportunity to celebrate the holiday. Beginning this Saturday, March 23rd, egg hunters can choose between 3 events in Mount Pleasant to kick off their Easter celebrations a little early. Faith Christian Outreach Church invites children up to 6th grade to enjoy its Easter egg extravaganza, Rain or Shine, All Inside. The event, which begins at 10 a.m., will include an egg hunt, free food, face painting, bouncy house, crafts, and games. Beginning at 10:30 a.m., also this Saturday, the new Mount Pleasant Goodwill will host its own Easter activities. Children stopping by the store can hone their egg hunting skills before showing off their art abilities with a coloring contest for kids up to 9 years old. The Goodwill Easter event will offer ring toss, complete with candy and prizes, an opportunity to meet and greet the Easter Bunny, and face painting, all while adults hunt for manager specials and participate in their own golden egg hunt. Activities there will run until 4 p.m. The fun will keep going in Mount Pleasant later that day when Addington Place puts its own spin on an Easter egg extravaganza. From noon to 1 p.m., the business will serve free refreshments and host a variety of children's activities, including an appearance from the Easter Bunny. At 12:30 p.m. sharp, a hunt will begin for over 5,000 eggs with special prizes and baskets. After well over a year since beginning its journey to bring an animal shelter to Henry County, All God's Creatures has officially begun reconstruction of its East Washington Street building. While it has taken some time for AGC to raise funds and gather volunteers to begin the needed renovations, to tailor the building at 2205 East Washington Street into an animal shelter, AGC has not remained stagnant. AGC has connected with the community through its provision of educational information, either through short blurbs on its Facebook page informing the public that cats are actually lactose intolerant, or through events like its open house in November, where guests were taught how to build a winter cat house. To learn more about All God's Creatures, visit its website at allgodscreaturesmp.org. The annual St. Patrick's Day party at Morrissey Law Offices in Fairfield is one of the oldest traditions in town, dating back to the mid-1970s. The law firm held its St. Patrick's Day celebration on Friday, March 15th, and just like it has for several decades, it attracted a large crowd to the law firm's lower level. Guests were treated to a smorgasbord of free food and drinks with an emphasis on Irish whiskeys, creams, coffee, and beer. John Morrissey, who has practiced law for more than 50 years, said the law firm's St. Patrick's Day festivities started out as a small gathering, but today the party can attract hundreds of friends and acquaintances. Morrissey moved to Fairfield in 1973 to become assistant county attorney and work in private practice with Ed Kelly, one of his good friends from law school at the University of Iowa. Shortly thereafter, Morrissey and Kelly invited friends to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and it snowballed into an annual tradition the law firm has done ever since. Morrissey said the party was initially just for lawyers and courthouse people who got together after work for some St. Pat's beverages. In 1992, then Chamber of Commerce and FIDA director Mike Brewer suggested turning the party into a chamber-sanctioned event and expanding the number of invitees. Current Chamber Director Mendy McAdams said Morrissey's St. Patrick's Day celebration is now the longest-running chamber event. Fairfield Public Library celebrated Pie Day on March 14th with pie and pie-shaped foods, a display dedicated to baking pie, and a pie contest where contenders competed to see who could recite the most digits of pi. The number pi, spelled P-I, refers to the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Rounded to 2 decimal places, the number is 3.14, which is why the library and other groups have taken to calling March 14th, or 314, Pi Day. The library celebrated Pi Day last year with freshly baked fruit and custard pies prepared by local community members, and this year the celebration only grew. In addition to having 15 pies donated by local bakers, the library served patrons other circular foods such as quesadillas and pizza. Fairfield Public Library Director Alex Schmidt-McCunis kicked off the festivities at exactly 3:14 p.m., leading the patrons in shouting, "Happy Pi Day." Those are today's top stories. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll hear about the newly released all-union big school basketball teams.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hello, welcome back to News Break. This is your sports editor, Andy Krutzinger, with your sports report for March 24th, 2024, the official start of March Madness 2024. And we got a little news on the hardwood high school-wise. We have released our all-union big school boys and girls basketball teams. On the boys' side, this one's led by Mount Pleasant. Eric Rawson of the Panthers is our coach of the year out of the 3 big schools, Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, and Washington. Mount Pleasant senior Peyton Higgins earns our captain nod this year. And other nominees on the boys team, Christian Stacy of Mount Pleasant, Riley Perkins of Fairfield, Logan McDowell of Washington, Nate Stroud of Mount Pleasant, Drew Conrad of Washington, and Sam Wheaton of Fairfield. Congrats to all selected on that. On the girls' side, we have a Washington coach and a Fairfield captain. Coach Shannon Rugg of Washington is our big school captain this year. And Savannah Hollander, a senior from Fairfield, is our captain this year. So a little split action there on the girls' side. Other girls selected, Adeline Long from Washington, as well as Abby Carthy from Mount Pleasant, Kendall Hendrickson from Washington, Faith Jones from Fairfield, Addison Miller from Washington, and Juliana Burns from Mount Pleasant. We are heading into spring sports season. We have a track meet tonight, Thursday, and it's been moved up to 2 p.m. Usually these track meets start about 3:34. This is the Steve Roth Relays, boys varsity relays at Washington, at Case Field. Let me tell you who's going to be there out of the Union coverage area. The Columbus Wildcats will be there, making their outdoor debut for the first time since getting second at state last year. The Fairfield Trojans will be in action. The Highland Huskies will be there. The Keota Eagles will be there. The Mount Pleasant Panthers will be in action. The Waco Warriors will be there. And the Winfield Mount Union Wolves, as well, of course, as the hosting Washington Demons. That is a boys-only meet. It starts at 2 p.m., so if you're getting ready to go out there at 4 today, get there a little earlier. It's going to end earlier also, and it really kicks off outdoor spring sports. We got girls track starting next week, girls outdoor track. Boys and girls soccer will be kicking off for all of our area soccer teams next week. So welcome to spring sports. We are here. NCAA tournament begins today. Probably after this comes out, it started at 11:30 a.m. and it will be going wild from today until Sunday when we're down to the Sweet 16, and also the women's tournament, which the Iowa Hawkeyes play in on Saturday at 3:30. Begins on Saturday. By the way, Drake also has a game in that. And then in the men's tournament, late night tonight, Iowa State and Drake both playing on True TV. And that Drake game doesn't start till like 9:15. So hopefully you guys are all ready to stay up all night and watch the basketball. That's all we got for the sports report. When we get back, Alex is going to give you your obituaries.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hello and welcome back to Newsbreak. It is now time for your obituaries. Chad Dale Fountain of Mount Pleasant passed away on March 16th at the age of 49. A celebration of life will be held March 24th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Mount Pleasant VFW. Norma Lee Punt of Keokuk passed away on March 17th at the age of 87. Kevin Edward Woodsmall of Winfield passed away on March 17th at the age of 58. A celebration of life will be held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on March 23rd at the Kimsey Funeral Home. That is your news of Southeast Iowa. I've been your host, Alex Snyder. This has been your news break, and I will see you next time.